How are you feeling? The nausea has finally passed. She felt the sting of tears blink them back. It's just such a shock. Max retrieved the mail and placed it on the coffee table before her. Is there anything I can do?
Read.
We need to find the killer. Jamie glanced at the stack of mail and shuffled through it for no other reason than to have something to do. There were 5 news ads for a personal section, but more than a dozen addresses to the Divine Love Goddess advisor. She was surprised to find that they had written in so soon.
That book.
She put the mail aside and looked at Max. Destiny was right. Not only do we have a new murder on our hands, I knew the victim personally. It's a small town, Jamie. You know a lot of people. She wasn't listening.
Read that book,
she said suddenly. She threatened Maxine yesterday. She jumped as someone knocked on the door. Destiny peeked in. I heard the news on the radio and came straight over. Are you okay? Jamie shrugged.
Thou shalt read, please.
We'll find the person responsible.
In order?
Yeah.
For order to be in order?
How many people have to die in the meantime?
Read,
Jamie's
please.
eyes glistened. Poor Maxine. She had so many dreams for her.
The world cannot spin without you reading.
At a loss for
Thou shalt read, please.
3 of them were quiet for a moment. Destiny glanced at the mail. Is any of that for me?
Read that book.
Jamie wiped her eyes. Most of it for you.
Read that
They
book.
were interrupted by another knock at the door. Jamie wasn't surprised to find Police Chief Lamar Tevis standing there. He glanced at Destiny, studied her a moment, then moved to Jamie. From the looks on your faces, I take it you've heard? Jamie nodded. We all feel awful about it. Lamar glanced at Destiny again. Jamie, I need to speak to you and Max. In private, he added. Jamie feared the worst was to come. Lamar, this is Destiny Moultrie. She'd been helping Max and studying the case. You can speak freely in front of her. But please, won't you sit down? Would you like coffee? Lamar shook his head as she sat at the sofa. I've been up all night and had my quota of caffeine, he hesitated. I'm afraid I have some more bad news for you. We searched Maxine's store in her house, and we found a clipping of the personal section from your newspaper on her kitchen table. We don't know if she actually called anyone because none of the ads had been circled, but she paused and reached into his shirt pocket. He pulled out a sheet of paper and unfolded it.
Read that book.
Just what Jamie had been dreading.
Read that motherfucker.
I have a court order here, he said, handing Jamie an official document for you to hand over any information you have on those who have placed for answered ads in your column. In the meantime, I'm going to request you stop running the column, at least until we get to the bottom of this. I'll need to make copies for you, Max said. Reaching into his briefcase for the file they had started. Jamie stood. Her knees still trembled. I'll make them, she said, needing to do something. She hurried out of the reception area, thankful that Vera was not around to ask questions. When she returned with the copies, she handed them to Lamar.
Thou shalt read, please.
Larry Johnson. Now there's a name I recognize. We've already had a few run-ins with a domestic violence charge being one of them. Unfortunately, his wife dropped the charges. He has a serious alcohol and anger problem, Jamie said. Max nodded. When he's not working, he hangs out at the lounge at the Holiday Inn. I see you make notes on the rest of these guys, Lamar said. That will be real helpful for us.
Thou shalt read, please. The road cannot spin if you're not reading.
Since me and my men have been focusing on Luana's business, Dylan instead of the personal section. Destiny and I set up dates with this man, Jamie said. At first, blush they seemed harmless, except for Larry Johnson. Destiny spoke. Don't forget he keeps a crowbar handy, she reminded Jamie. Jamie looked at Lamar. One in his car and one just sitting outside his front door. You should probably check them for trace evidence, Max told Lamar. And that's not to forget about Brent Walker. He publicly threatened Maxine yesterday. I could be wrong, but I think the man has a few loose screws. He's been preaching on street corners, scaring folks half to death with talk of doom and gloom.
Please read.
One of my deputies threatened to haul him in if he didn't stop.
If you're going to do anything.
Of course, Walker started yapping about freedom of speech and all that.
Please.
We suspect he visited Luana Ritter the night of her murder, he went on, but we have no proof. He claims he was home or reading scripture. It's not exactly an airtight alibi. Agnes was feeling well that night and went to bed early.
Read that
who else would have left all that religious material in her mailbox? There's one other person who could have put that religious literature in Luana's mailbox, Max said.
Read that motherfucker.
He told him about the
Read that motherfucker.
He ran an ad.
Motherfucker, that read.
Do you know if Luana contacted him? Lamar asked. Max shook his head. I managed to get my hands on Luana's cell phone records.
Motherfucker,
did a
that
cross-check on the phone numbers, but I got nothing. She obviously made the calls from her home or her office phone. Any return addresses on the envelopes of those responded to the ads? Lamar asked Jamie. She shook her head. Look, I told Max they would have wanted it confidential.
Fuck.
Lamar shuffled through the ads.
Fuck.
You've met with all these men, except for Sam Hunter, Max said.
It makes me go,
I left several messages on his answering machine, Destiny
motherfucker,
said.
that read.
He must be playing hard to get. Lamar looked at her. If you don't mind my asking, what's in your involvement in this case?
I'm listening to the story.
Psychic, Max said. Oh, Lord, not one of those. I'm listening to the story. Said with a sigh. Actually, she is vicious.
I can hear you reading.
She knew there would be another
Thou
victim.
shall read,
and since
please.
we had nothing specific, the scratches, Destiny interrupted. She looked at Lamar.
Fuck.
Maxine Chambers put up a fight before she died. She left these scratches on the killer's arm.
Motherfucker, that
Lamar
read.
looked from Jamie to Max. Several of her fingernails were broken.
Read that book.
I had my men bag her hands for nail scraping. I'd like to have a look at Larry Johnson's and Brent Walker's arms.
Motherfucker, that read,
Would y'all
please.
excuse me just a minute? He took on his radio while Jamie and Destiny headed to the small kitchen for coffee.
Please, read.
Maybe I could help you, Chief Tevis, Destiny said. Once she and Jamie have returned with their coffee, I could take a look at the murder scene. You know, I might get a feel for something. I can't make any promises. Lamar seemed to struggle with the idea. The guys would laugh me right out of my job.
Motherfucker,
but
that
what
read.
if it works, man?
Please, read.
What if it saves another woman's life? You won't know until you try.
Thou shalt read.
Oh, okay. You can come with me, but don't tell the guys while you're really there. I'll think of something on the way over. They stared
Motherfucker,
for the door. I'll have to bring Ronnie. Who's Ronnie? Lamar asked. Jamie cleared her throat. Never mind, Destiny said.
Shit.
Agnes aimlessly awoke in her easy chair with a start.
Read that
She felt tired and haggard after a fitful
motherfucker,
night.
that read.
She had awakened when Brent had come in after midnight, only to toss and turn for hours. She had finally given up on sleep and had risen at 4. She glanced at the clock, reached for her remote control, and turned on the midday news.
Thou shalt read, please.
Gas from her lips. Brent found her there when he came through the front door several hours later. The TV was off. Agnes hadn't moved from the chair, except answering the door once and make a cup of tea. What's wrong, Graham? He asked. She didn't answer. Graham, the police came by earlier. He gave an exasperated sigh. What do they want this time? They didn't say. Brent, the most awful thing that happened. Miss Chambers was murdered last night. Maxine Chambers from the lingerie store. Oh, great. The police probably want to pin that on me, too. Agnes looked at
that chip. Eat that
chip.
chip.
What are you talking about? He sank into the sofa.
Turn that page.
And raked his hands through his hair.
Turn that page.
They questioned me about the Ritter woman. I left some spiritual literature on her mailbox, so they naturally assumed I killed her. I don't understand. What was your business with her, Mr. Ritter, Mrs. Ritter? Brent gapped at her. Surely you know that she was hounding several members of the church, Graham. They had taken out loans with her and were having a hard time making payments. Brent sent a couple of her goons out to scare them.
Read that motherfucker.
These guys scared one of the members pretty bad. I'm surprised you haven't heard.
Thou shalt read.
I thought they were just rumors.
Eat that chip.
We might have to think.
Salt and vinegar.
To task.
Salt and vinegar.
Brent said.
Lays.
Oh, my Christian duty.
Lays. Read that book. Eat that chip.
You visited her, Brent nodded. Do the police know?
Eat that chip.
He hesitated. I don't want to involve you, Graham. The less you know,
that book.
the better. You've always been able to talk to me. Brent clasped his hands together and stared down at the floor.
Read that motherfucker.
I told him I never set foot inside Ritter's house.
Read that book.
That's not true. Agnes went deathly still. What happened? She let me in.
Read that book.
She had given me 5 minutes to have me say. It turned into a yelling match. I was so mad. He raked his hands across his face. I don't want to talk about it.
Motherfucker.
You should have told the police the truth.
Motherfucker, that read.
It's not like you to lie. I had
motherfucker,
no choice.
that read.
They're desperate to pin this thing on someone. And now they're going to come after me over that Chambers woman. I lost my temper yesterday. Said some things I probably shouldn't have. My guess is somebody reported it. Probably the newspaper woman. Agnes suddenly looked afraid. The police asked me if you went out last night. I told them yes, that you didn't come home until late. Brent paled. I was out driving around, he said, driving and thinking.
Thou shalt read.
Well, tell you this.
Read, please.
at school. Then I
Thou
suggest you
shalt read
return
that,
immediately
motherfucker.
and straighten them out, young man, Agnes said sharply, then gazed locks. Yes, of course, he said. I can be packing out of here in less than
Read
an
that,
hour.
motherfucker.
Vera said.
Motherfucker,
Vera
that
was
read.
not happy. I can't believe you're going to
Thou shalt read, please.
to give that crazy woman more space for her divine love goddess column.
I can hear you reading.
Temporary, Jamie said. Did you see that
From
stack
now
of
on.
mail Destiny received?
From now on.
Yes, it's just goes
That's
to
how
show
you read.
how people aren't thinking straight if they're seeking information from somebody